We have some special functions that have just been developed for working with data tables. You'll notice that the names are very similar to functions that we already have, except it calls it daverage, dcount A. Remember what the difference is between count and count A? Count counts how many of the cells have numeric data in it. Count A will look at alphanumeric. Let's try out some of these functions on the next page. Here you can see a cells table that we want to analyze. Notice up above we've put in criteria. We have, for this first one, February in the north area. So looking at February in the north area, we may want to get the sum of these three items. Coming down here, notice it has a blank before it. You can just get rid of that blank, and we'll hit enter, but it's given us a 0. Why a 0? We may try to evaluate this in several ways to figure out what's going on with this formula. One idea would be to click on the insert function here, and you can see that the database, it seems to recognize the field sales it's recognizing, but it's having problem with the criteria. Or another way of doing that would have been to go to Formulas, Evaluate Formulas. The first criteria underlined here, Table 1, All, it says is B6 through G21. Well, that's my table. Table 1 Headers, Cells, that's F6. So it recognized which column we wanted to add. Now it just needs the criteria. Oh, it's saying for the criteria, go to Advanced Filtering. That's on a whole different tab, from A4 to J5. I really wanted it up here. Well, let's fix that. I'll come up here and say, let's rename this criteria. Hit enter, and you'll notice it went to the Advanced Filtering tab and went to these items we had set up as the criteria at that point. Let's go back and examine this further. Okay, so we can't call this criteria by just changing the name in the name box, but we can go up to Manager and click on, wow, look at all these criteria, 4 of them. Notice here that this one only works in the computed criteria. This next criteria is for multiple criteria. The third one in tables, and the fourth one is the one we went to in Advanced Filtering, is good for the whole workbook. So we can create a criteria that would work just on this worksheet. We do this by clicking on New, Criteria. This is not for the workbook. It won't let us do that. But we can come down to Database Function Examples, this worksheet. And notice, because I had it highlighted, it already is going from B1 to C2. I could wipe that out if it wasn't already highlighted, and then just come up and redraw that. Okay. Close. Look, this already has computed a value. Let's format that as dollars, Control-Shift, $, and I'll have to make it a little bit wider in order to do that. It says those items in February North amount to 1,320,600. So let's check that out. That's February and North. I look down here, 1,320,600. So we got the right amount. Let's change this D minimum. And you can go down and do all the rest as well. I'll change that to $, Control-Shift, $. And you have all these functions. Now the nice thing about these functions is if I come up here and say I want this in January North, I click on the criteria and these change automatically. Or maybe I want South. Notice that they changed automatically down here. I didn't have to go up and say Data, Advanced Filtering, and so forth. Boy, that can sure help make it a lot more user-friendly, especially if we decided to put drop-down boxes here of only valid values.